Good afternoon. Well, perfect. So, definitely a pleasure, and thanks to Purple for the opportunity. Today, we will be addressing, it's not about KAON, it's about us as an organization, as an entity, as an idea. We will explore today during this presentation, some challenges. We will present some challenges, but most important, we are also bringing ideas into the table. So let's have an open session. Look forward also for the Q&A, because definitely one thing about open source is that definitely yes we can, we are doing it, right? So this is already a statement today. And I was thinking about how I'm going to open the stage. It's after lunch, so I need to motivate people, right? So today when we were having breakfast, we looked into the sky, right? It's not a right Pantone, but it's definitely purple, right? So if this is not a sign, I don't know, okay? So, this is it, okay? This is a way to start today, yeah? So this is definitely incredible, right? It's a sign, right? I take it as a sign. Look, let's put things in perspective, right? So it's important, we look a little bit back, but today is not about what is behind us, it's more what we can do tomorrow. And tomorrow will bring the future, right? So together, again. So again, this is not a KAON speech. This is how we see things moving, and definitely with all of you. So KAON joined in 2018. If you look into that period, we had on the field, carrier-grade solutions, multiple different software stacks, right? Monolithic solutions. What we call the classic middleware approach. Yeah? This is still, more than billions of devices are out there, right? This is still present nowadays. What we have been looking, and this is why, very important for KAON and be part of the Purple, is what happened from that moment, right? How we address the challenges and how we understand those challenges. So 2020, 2021, we had kind of, a period of incubation to understand exactly what is the best strategy, and we have come to a conclusion that open source is definitely the best strategy. It is the strategy, right? But we also come to the conclusion that we cannot do this alone. So we need to bring everyone into the table, operators, we need to bring partners into the table. We need to work even with the, and I'm the ODM, right? So we need to work with our competitors to leverage and bring scale because that is in demand today. And this is the time now definitely to do it. So when we look into, 2021, this is already a statement. This is a commitment. And we are definitely, very motivated and very keen to ramp up this open source development. There are challenges. We will cover that. I will leave the 2022 and the future for the last slide, because that is also important that we understand what is coming next to us. So I'll just move on. I'll start with a question. I always like to ask things and put things a little bit into the perspective. So look, when we look today, right, open source strategy, embedded solutions, they do make sense, right? The question is, why hasn't this been done so far, right? Why? It's a rhetoric question. I don't need answers. It's okay. So let's look back. We always need to put things into perspective, right? So yesterday, 3 main legacy limitations. They still exist, right? There is ways to move those limitations. First, this concept of vendor lock-in, right? So this is something that still exists. We need to accept it. We have accepted it. Operators have accepted it. Second one is outdated software, right? So what is happening is that, today we want to lower TCO. We want to bring added value, customer experience, user experience into the CPEs, into the in-home part. And we just cannot do it because we don't have the right kernel version or we don't have the right, specific OS version. So there are limitations which also bring issues, operational issues to operators, of course, right? The third one is, I just mentioned, it's the weak user experience. There is definitely a major focus nowadays. And well, you can challenge me, but we as an ODM, we see operators more and more talking about the user experience and how we can bring, you know, additional added value to our customers. But again, you know, there is always the yesterday and there is always the today. What we are bringing here is 6 main points in terms of key technology advancements. This is not the answer to my question, right? But these are actually enablers that allow us today to be here, right? That allow us today to drive the open source, the community concept, and bring additional added value, and obviously monetize all of that experience, right? This is extremely important. Hardware, you know, I mean, just look to the specifications, you know, CPU, hardware configurations. These are, you know, almost PCs running in the household of your customers. Memory configurations increasing, so hardware is enabling all of these flexibility. Embedded Linux distributions, right? Ramping up, specifically when it comes to being on the lead of specific kernel versions, operating system versions. So this is happening more and more. And also, I see a major engagement when it comes to the low-level part from SoC to be leading those versions up to date. This is extremely important as an enabler. Containerization solutions evolutions. So again, in the morning, we had a very good, you know, walk the table where we had, you know, Orange and also Verizon talking about containerization, user experience, customer experience as the added value. So here it is, right? So this is no secret, but this is definitely something that is coming out there. Then you also have the core part, right? You know, and I will quote the Orange team, which was, you know, now we have the gigabit, right? And what is next, right? I mean, the speed is already there. What we're going to do, how we're going to monetize that speed into the in-home connectivity. Increase user focus and increase, obviously, privacy and security. There are other elements into the in-home connectivity that are important, but these are definitely the drivers that are enabling us to roll it out. Now, let me start with, and I know a lot of my competition, let's put things like that, you know, I'm very straightforward always. There are challenges with open source, how we see the future of open source. Not just we as an ODMs, but also when you come to the silicon level, right? There are challenges. I think one thing that we can agree is that if I go around and if I ask what does it mean open source to you, I bet with you I will have a single different answer. Right? Because it has different meanings for different people. We may agree on the concept, but you know, we will always have different questions. So I think one thing that we can agree is that open source is not a business model. Look, this is a statement, right? You may not like it, but the question is, what do you do with this statement? How do you move forward? Because this is actually blocking a lot of engagement in this industry, a lot of engagement in terms of what we are doing inside prpl. I don't have the answer, but I have some topics that I would like to discuss with you, and once again, look forward for the QA. Point number one, upstream open source, right? I mean, it is immediately the number one issue that we have, right? So, I mean, how are we gonna monetize this, what we are doing, right? So, you know, today, what is happening is that, you know, we see a lot of royalties, intellectual properties inside of what is happening inside the customer household. So this zero-cost licensing approach is definitely something that we need to address. There are some ideas here. You know, there is ways of monetizing. Services upselling is one of them. So enabling the platform for the services upselling. Again, this is not a one-way solution. This is definitely something that to challenge this concept and this concept of the open source. Second point is, again, I need to bring the ODM view here, right? What is actually stop others doing exactly the same thing as you are doing it, right? So how can you control that? Is there a way to control it? Maybe, you know, we just need to accept it, and that is fine. So this is actually eating up revenue streams. But once again, there is different ways. There is involvement in maintenance. There is evolution in terms of the platform that you can bring. You know, there are different topics, and today we heard once again the security topic. So there is a lot that can be done, that can support from an ODM point of view to challenge these open source concepts. So I need to speed up a little bit, but I want to bring another point into the open source. Again, it's about addressing the challenges. I want to bring sustainability into it, because I think this is something that definitely we need to address in terms of how do we look into the open source from a sustainability point of view. It can be done, you know, not saying that we have all the answers, but definitely with your support, we can definitely accelerate things and put things out there. LCA, you know, is the way, definitely, the way we see it from the open source perspective, to analyze and improve the, you know, the different performance we have when we bring a device into the field, right? And not a lot of people, maybe now there is more conscious about it, but not a lot of people are taking this into consideration. I think we, as a group, should look into it, because this is definitely something, you know, very important for all of us in the community. And once again, bringing a little bit of the answer of the challenges of the open source, you know, by sharing the code, once again, we create sustainability, we offer efficiency because others will leverage it, so there is no problem in others leveraging it. Yeah. What you do with that is actually what brings the value of it, right? The ability to reuse and recycle the code is extremely important, right? And this fits exactly on the concept of this circular economy. So we need to bring the sustainability into the open source side. That is definitely a way to challenge the open source. So I like this picture a lot. I mean, I've used that in BBF this week. There are a combination of things, right? Point number one, global adoption of the open source, right? Open APIs and open standards. Key, we all agree on this. The commitment of, you know, community, partners, operators. At the end of the day, you know, together with that circle, and I have to apologize if I'm missing, you know, a logo there, but, you know, and actually I'm reusing this concept from another presentation, so if someone is here claiming the IPs, you know, we can discuss. Is it yours? I don't know, yeah? Doesn't matter. What it matters is the message, right? Yeah, there we go. Thank you so much. What it matters is the message. The message is, it's the time to handshake, not only from the SOC, not only from the ODM, not only from the operators, not only from the service partners. It is a time that we glue all of that together. Truly believe also linked to the standardization, right? That's why Broadband Forum is also there, right? As a group, to glue all of this and make sure that we get united to the front all. Yeah? So that is definitely interesting. So last slide. You know, I talk, you know, Portuguese, so kind of it's in my genes to talk too much and move a lot. Apologies for that. So what is next, right? And this is extremely important. I will not read, you know, you will have access to that, but what is definitely important, and this is something that, you know, another surprise, we are all full of surprises, and, you know, I think it's very important that we bring into the table the, you know, that PowerPoint into a gateway, right? This is what we want to achieve. This is what operators want to achieve, right? So, you know, let's all have a purple waste, as we call it internally in KAON. Let's drive this together, okay? Let's move. Sorry for the console cape. This is not very professional. Yeah, now I noticed that. Jesus Christ, I need to fix this with my team. Yeah, this is improvement, okay? But look, bring SOC diversity to the purple board. This is something that we are committed. Well, again, when I say we, you know, of course we are a way to drive that, but, you know, here with you together, bring these, you know, low-level application layers, you know, work with SOC partners, make sure they understand and enable them to understand the value of what we are doing here, because a lot is misunderstanding. We just need to have, you know, a very serious conversation, and they will definitely align. We are committed to allocate hardware to the foundation. Once again, it's not just a PowerPoint. We will bring specific hardware into the table. We will, you know, make sure that everyone has access to it, and we will all drive together. Not this one, I'm so sorry, yeah? But I will try to make sure that all the pieces that arrive to purple are in this right pantone, right? So, again, you know, it's all about us. That is the message that we wanted to bring here today. The rest is a little bit of convening the message that we all know that needs to be addressed. I hope I didn't upset anyone with challenging, we are not challenging open source or the monetization of the platform. It's not that. It's just that questions that we need to raise, right? I mean, and we need your help, everyone help in this room to make it happen. And once again, it's not about the operating system. It's really about how we engage together. And that's it on my side. Thank you.